Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my subscribers. How are you? I'm out here in this 100-degree weather. And get to 100 yet. It's about 89 right now. So it's going to get there. That's what they say. So the temperature's rising. I got my little fan thing on, but it can't work. It can't beat this heat, though. I got my cold water in the bag. I have to walk in this heat in the city. Yeah, my title is Know Your State. You know, the thing about voters is that before you vote, you should learn the state you live in. You should learn the people that are in power in that state before you cast your vote because you might be voting for somebody that's against you. Don't just vote just to be angry with somebody that you don't like because sometimes you might go against your best interests. That's why I say you can't go with their personality. You got to deal with policies. Policies, always policies. And also watch their work and what they're doing and how they serve under leadership of their president. Um, People don't look at that. I do. I really do. I really look at the way they serve under the president of the United States, whether he was a Democrat or a Republican, because that shows good leadership of following. You have to learn how to follow before you can lead. And that's the whole thing. And I just put out there that I like Ron DeSantis because I lived in Florida, I lived in Tampa. I always felt safe. They kept well kept, you know, most of the places in Tampa. And even in some of the places that are supposed to be like the poorer neighborhoods for low income people, families or whatever. And I did my little tour and I went in some of those communities. And very well kept. You know, of course, everybody in Florida got a pool because it stay hot in Florida. But he does a good job informing the people that live there about what's going on, and especially for the senior citizens because Florida is the sunshine state, and that's where mostly seniors, after they retire from their hard work throughout their life and they done, they want to go and live in Florida. That's what my sister mother-in-law did. My sister wanted to take my mother down there, but I was like, when she started getting elderly and sick, but I said no, because I was her power, I was her custodian, I was my mother's guardian. So I didn't let my mother go to Florida because that's not where her life was. She lived her entire life in New York, mostly raising her family. Her life started in New York. That's where she raised her family. That's where she got married and everything, and she was going to be buried next to her husband. And that's where we had planned to bury her. So Florida wouldn't have been a good move. Just cared for her while she went through all her sicknesses, her sickness. Her best place was to be buried home with her in New York with her husband. And a lot of times young people don't think about that. That got to be their choice. You just can't override them like that. And I think Ron DeSantis do a very good job taking care of the seniors in Florida and keeping them informed about everything, especially our veterans that have retired and live in Florida and in Texas. A lot of veterans retired and they live in Texas because I met some people in Texas that I lived in Texas. And I lived in a military community, right? I was working out there. I was working as a personal banker. I was opening accounts for military families and stuff, trying to build accounts and give them the right accounts for themselves and for their families and everything. So that's how I know these things. So Delaware is beautiful. I don't have any complaints about Delaware. And I think it's a really good state too. It's a college state. But they crack down on Delaware now. They don't play out here with these young people because a lot of times people are raising their children and they out of control and You just got to do what you got to do to enforce certain laws. But anyway, y'all, I'm getting ready to go inside this church. So hopefully I'll talk with you all later, okay? We're going to go back and see that church I talked to you about before. So hang in there with me. Love you. Peace. Service started already?